Hi, it's your girl Leslie from Leslie Jordan Wellness, home of the Eat Free Live Fierce podcast, available to you on Spotify and the Eat Free Live Fierce page on Instagram. I am sharing tonight because, as you can see from the first slide, my mystical, magical Dove chocolate oracle says to write a letter to a friend and send chocolate with it. So the oracle has spoken, and thinking about writing a letter to a friend of mine, I was contemplating what exactly I wanted to share about what was going on in my life. And when I thought about it, it made me think of a few comments that I've gotten this week. This week, ahead of my 10th wedding anniversary, I have been sharing information about the social wellness domain. And some of the comments that I've gotten, excuse me, my nose itches. Pollen's crazy here in Austin, Texas. Some of the questions and comments that I've received this week have all been, believe it or not, around or related to the communication area. Um, and no wonder, right? These last 2 years, we have maybe changed the way we communicate, the depth of communication. Some of our skills of reading body language may be off because we just haven't seen bodies. We've seen talking heads, all that, right? So it was no wonder that communication skill came up. In one situation, someone shared that they had shared something very personal to them with a friend that seemed that their friendship was deepening, and that person also felt compelled to share, but person A did not feel that sharing was on the same level, like of depth or intimacy, like what she gave wasn't reciprocated. That was one scenario. In a couple of other scenarios I got, both of them talked about the feeling of reluctance to share for different reasons, and they're in different type of relationships, and they were just like, well, what can I do? So all of these speak to the communication skill or the aspect of communication. It's called self-disclosure. Sometimes it's called willful disclosure, and this is where we share information intentionally with someone else that they would not have had a way to learn about us if we didn't directly and intentionally share that information. So, for example, if you've seen any of my posts ever, or any of my videos ever, or listened to me, whether you think I'm funny or not, you can tell that I like humor. I like to bring levity to things, and that's just how I communicate. It's part of my communication style. Um, I'm not intentionally telling you I like humor and like to bring levity to things. I don't have to. It's just a part of the words that I use and my, I think, funny jokes and anecdotes. So you can get that from communicating with me without me saying that directly to you. So self-disclosure would be me telling you, hey, my birthday's May 10th, right? That's self-disclosure. That's something you would not have known, and I shared it with you. Is that something just so deep, and did I have to dig deep for that? No, I didn't. So self-disclosure, like everything, happens along a spectrum, right? So you share things that are appropriate to share based on topic, based on timing, based on length of time known, individual aspects of the way you and that person are communicating come together, where you are. All that plays a big part in how we self-disclose and in what we self-disclose. So that's what the second bullet point says, and there's a citation for a study that you can dig deeper into. So what stops us from self-disclosing? So that speaks to those two situations where they feel uncomfortable. Lots of things can prevent us from self-disclosing. Bad experiences in the past. Maybe you want to talk about personal hygiene, but we're at dinner, and that's not the time or the place, right? So situations, past experiences, topic matter. Talking about deep things and traumatic events and experiences are harder to talk about, and so if that's what's coming up, we may stop from self-disclosing because we don't feel comfortable or ready, or we don't think that the other person maybe is ready or will respond in a way that we hope. So those are all reasons, and just a few, right? Just a little sample of reasons that stop us from self-disclosing. So you have to really figure that out, and we'll get to that on the last slide. I just want to share that there are benefits to self-disclosure. It does, in fact, help us build deeper, more intimate relationships, no matter what type of relationship it is, people who self-disclose to others like those people better. That's a finding from the study. People who are disclosed to like that person better as well. So it goes both ways. Like if you share with me, I must like you, and the person I'm sharing with likes me too. Likes me. Oh, that person shares part of their life or who they are with me. I like them a little bit better. So that's how that works, and that's awesome. And as you can imagine, the more I like you, the more apt I am to disclose to you. So those are just a few of the interpersonal benefits, but those are so critical when we're building and maintaining meaningful relationships. And even just for yourself, when you share or disclose information with other people, you get a benefit. It sometimes just decreases stress. It is very cathartic. It can be a relief to be able to share something with someone else. And conversely, not sharing can increase the levels of stress that you experience. So it's a benefit all the way around to be able to have those type of relationships where self-disclosure can happen, which is why the social wellness aspect is very, very important. So to the oracle, right? So that is a way. I just want to give that tip of how you can maybe self-disclose. If there's a point in your relationship with a friend or a significant other and you feel the need to share something, maybe if it's difficult for you, write a letter. A lot of times that is a bridge for us to open up a conversation or a dialogue through a way that doesn't feel like the eyes are just back at you in the dead silence, right? It's a letter. So that is definitely a tip for you. Listen to the Dove Chocolate Oracle. She knows what she's talking about. So if there's something that you have to share, try writing it in a letter. For me, I love writing letters. I also journal a lot. And of course, that's my next suggestion as far as writing goes. Write it in a journal. Those reflective practices really can help us get to know each other and really get in touch with our feelings and emotions and work things out before we have to share them. So on to the next slide. In a little decision tree, when you click over on the last slide of this carousel, I included a little decision tree to help you work through sharing information with people and when to share that information. So as you can see, first of all, I want to make a distinction between something that is secret and something that is private. Yes, there's a difference. So if it is truly something that is private, then that may very well be best kept to yourself. Yes, do not disclose that if it's still private information. Secret information could most likely be accessible by multiple people. So once you decide if it's private information or if it's secret, then you can go through this tree for self-disclosure. So the first question is the other person a good person to share this information with? That is a subjective question. Is the other person a good person? Or is your relationship on that level? Is that person mature enough to handle what you would like to share? Those are some of the types of qualifying questions you can ask yourself. The answer is no. Do not disclose. Keep it to yourself. The answer is yes. Then ask yourself the following question: is keeping this information to myself troubling or damaging in some way to myself? Is it causing me stress? Is it a secret that this person needs to know about? Is it going to affect this other person? So is it going to affect that other person, yourself, or the relationship that you have or would like to have with this person? The answer is no. Do not disclose. The answer is yes, then self-disclosure in this instance is likely a good way. And of course, if you're still struggling, you have those things like writing letters and journaling it out to kind of work it out in your head before you self-disclose. So I just want to add those tips to you, and hopefully you can find some use and some benefit in that as you endeavor to build, fortify, and deepen the intimacy level in your relationships. Again, from Leslie and the Dove Chocolate Oracle. Have a good night and be well.